Spider Pig, back with another Super Saturday. If your Saturday ain't super, holla at your boy, you dig? Cause hey, you already know I'm gonna get it going, keep it popping. Shout out to your boy TWP. TWP, because that's what we do. We wake up early to watch cartoons with y'all on Saturday. And if they ain't even cartoons, it's about cartoons. So you already know the vibe. You dig? And if you ain't vibing, ride out. It goes. You dig? Let's see. Let's go to the beginning of the playlist. Because we're not playing everything in there. I'm going to just get the video started and come back here in a minute.
Hey folks, if you like what I'm putting out here on Geekdom 101 and want to hear my thoughts on other aspects of geek culture like video games, TV shows, movies, pro wrestling, and more, check out my second channel, World of Geekdom. I will leave a link down below for you to check that out. I thank you and I hope you enjoy it. Alright, we gotta talk about this Toyotaro interview from volume 24 of the Dragon Ball Super manga because there's a ton of misinformation out there based on a mistranslation that basically came from Toyotaro about the cover, what it symbolizes, as well as I want to get into something else Toyotaro said about the future of Dragon Ball Super. So make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so you have full context on what's going on, because I'm seeing this mistranslation get spread around and people are already kind of losing it. So I'm going to get through it here, and by the end of the video, you'll know everything. So let's talk about it. So in volume 24, there was an interview done with Toyotaro, and there's a translation that's been out there that is wrong. So I'm going to read you the wrong translation first, and then the correct one. So in the wrong translation, Toyotaro was quoted as saying, "As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to show that the power of all 5 characters is the same, which is why I created this composition." He's talking about this piece of art that has Ultra Instinct Goku, Ultra Ego Vegeta, Gohan Beast, Orange Piccolo, and final Full Power Broly. And people have taken this quote as Toyotaro saying, oh, he's saying that they're all equal in power, when we know that's not the case. We know that of this group of 5, we know that Orange Piccolo is not as strong as Gohan Beast. We know that Broly, although he has the potential to be very, very powerful, is still training with Goku and Vegeta, still learning the ropes and learning how to control his power. And Gohan and Goku had a sparring match in chapter 101, 102, and 103 that Gohan barely won, and even that's up for debate. But this is a mistranslation. This is not what was actually said. So let's talk about what was actually said. So Toyotaro is being interviewed by another lifelong Dragon Ball fan, and the question is, the cover of that volume has everyone in their strongest forms, right? Which is true. This is their strongest forms. So look what he says here. I actually had to do a search there. Look what he says. This is the actual translation. Like I said before, I wanted to depict the rivalry between the 5 of them, and that cover illustration was born from that. I worked like crazy on the cover, and I don't think I'd be willing to devote so much time to a cover again in the future. Also, on the backside, there's Black Frieza, who is also a part of the power level conversation, which we know that Black Frieza is stronger than UI and UE. And because of that, we know he's probably stronger than Orange Piccolo, Broly, and maybe even Gohan. I've seen some folks debate that Gohan Beast may be stronger, but I think we don't have enough evidence just yet. So it really, I mean, again, the incorrect translation. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to show that the power of all 5 characters is the same. That is not what he said. He said the rivalry between the 5 of them, meaning they're all striving to be as strong as possible, which is good because that's the message of Dragon Ball going all the way back to the beginning, is to be the absolute best that you can be. Don't try to be like someone else. That's the message that Toriyama left us with before he passed away. You know, in recent Dragon Ball Super stories, it's that you got to do the best you can, and sometimes you go your own path. And, you know, Beast Gohan, Ultra Ego, UI are all different pathways to getting power, and they're doing the best that they can. Now, I want to discuss what Toyotaro said about the future of Dragon Ball, something I missed in my previous video. So later on in this very same interview, and I'm glad we actually have the correct translations now, because like I said, people are going to see memes and images on Instagram and Facebook and probably get it wrong. Make sure you send them this video so that they know what the truth is. But I want to get to this quote right here where Toyotaro discusses the spine. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, the spine is when you take the book and you turn it sideways, like when you put it on a bookshelf, right? The side that says like Dragon Ball Super, the volume number, and like with the original Dragon Ball manga, Toyotaro draws different characters there, and when you put all the spines next to each other, it creates this like giant, like almost this wide picture. You know, the original manga did the same thing. So he goes on to say here in this interview, he says, the characters appearing on the spine art are decided and drawn several volumes in advance, so I hadn't thought that I'd end up in a situation where the front cover features powerhouses and the spine art features a total weakling. Incidentally, I've already drawn the future spine art characters, which I hope everyone will get to see soon. The fact that he's already drawn spine art for volumes that haven't come out yet, that right there is yet another clue that Toyotaro at least seems to be under the impression that the manga will continue. But like we've talked about in previous videos, we don't know what's going on with Shueisha. There's no update on the battle between Capsule Corp Tokyo and Shueisha. Like there's no update, like, as far as what's going on. Akio is still sort of obviously involved because he helped promote Daima, so he's still in the mix, but there's been no resolution. And like I said in the other video the other day, Dragon Ball Super's on a hiatus, and I can't stand this because Japan does this and it's so infuriating. They don't communicate. If they told us, hey, next chapter will be in August, okay, or hey, it'll be in July or September or whatever, then it would be very much appreciated. But instead, well, here we are. So I want to show you this image right here. This is the Dragon Ball spine art that I was talking about. See how it makes up one big image if you put it next to each other? Toyotaro's basically saying that he's already got spine art drawn for volumes that haven't even come out yet. Now, that obviously, does that mean that he's got more stuff already written? Does that mean he's got more stuff drawn that we don't know about? It's weird because even Toyotaro himself is very vague. Even he's not directly saying, okay, I've been working on this great arc for you guys, it's coming out real soon, or hey, I've been working on some new character that'll be revealed soon. Nothing. And it's just very frustrating, but hopefully this cleared up not just the misconception that I talked about earlier, but also, more clues that there's supposed to be more volumes coming. Now, if there are no more volumes coming, then that needs to be made clear. But as of right now, it's never been said by anybody. That includes Toyotaro, Akio, Shueisha, or any of the Jump magazines. But again, this is the world we live in, man, where they don't tell us anything. And even the leakers have trouble finding information when this is so hush-hush at the top. Anyways, that's my video for today. I hope that you are able to get clarity. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you real soon, all right? Take care.
Hello, monkey. I heard you like to fight, but never let an enemy out of your sight. 20 fool I go with him to face our might. The Frieza force will knock you out like a light. This son Gohan the only one to get your hand-me-downs, but Vegeta at a pity party with his tears out. His hand was a weird case, why was he around? Certified Super Saiyan, certified imbecile. Frieza, fuck him up. I did my stuff. Why are you fighting like a bitch? Are you hungry? Fight with all your might, but you're still a filthy monkey.
Frieza with them bars. Shout out to the bars. Y'all know to go check out my homie Cooking with Love and More. He'll probably stop through here in a minute. Bro be out networking, doing his thing. I appreciate that though.
After that, we were introduced to some Fist of the North Star bandits. They got lost and found their way to Dragon Ball. Now, this one introduces something interesting. If you know anything about Sun Wukong, the character Goku is based on, you know he has 3 iconic tools. Goku has 2 of the 3 tools, but Toriyama never introduced the 3rd, that tool being the sealing gourd. Here, it has the power to seal someone if they don't answer when their name is called. After being sealed, they're turned into a liquid that if someone drinks, they can steal the sealed person's power. Kinda OP, huh? Luckily, Goku is able to avoid being converted with the power pole, and turns the gourd on its owners. Goku lets the villagers keep the gourd. Shame he couldn't keep it, as this is filler. But it's not really his style to use something like that anyway. The bandits are no match for Goku, but assuming they've been using the gourd for a while, they're probably pretty strong. So, let's give them 67 and 73. Now...
Jesus Christ, really?
Don't forget to become a member
Time for the meat and
of
potatoes for today's show.
For exclusive manga content and early access. Isn't that right, Seth?
I already joined this Patreon today. Tons of great stuff on there, actually. But did you really have to blow up the city?
Yes.
Blew up the domino. You blew up the domino, and you're laughing. Do you realize the f***ing price is here?
And you will be next. Unless you subscribe, like the video, and turn on notifications right now.
Or else what? You'll aggressively scream another man's name for several hours?
Kakarot! Kakarot!
Well, this was certainly something that I did not foresee in having to have it take place with all things considered. And even though I have no doubt that if Raijin were to find out that I currently wield one of the 3 configuration cubes that he seeks, do I only then believe that he will try and stop at nothing to track me down to claim the cube for himself, which is exactly why I must hurry and take action to keep the cube hidden with me until there is a breakthrough within our efforts in having to stop these demons before it's too late.
story now continues back within Mechikabura's realm, with Mechikabura's henchmen Gravy, Poutine, and Salsa being shown having to be completely annihilated by the demon god Raijin, to which it was only just as Mechikabura had made his presence known by exiting his palace and having to address the overall situation happening down below was when Mechikabura then went on to respond, and just what exactly is the meaning of this? For who dares to go and cross over into my domain without my authorization? And more importantly is what exactly happened to my fellow demon warriors who were just right here? Or where did you all just go? Wait a minute now, as I am no longer able to sense their life force other than just one of them, Mechikabura continues, which only means they must have been destroyed while I was inside of my chamber. But how and by whom? Wait, is that? But of course, Raijin went on to then quickly interrupt upon being shown having to eat Gravy's heart. And so there you finally are, Mechikabura, as I was starting to wonder on when you were going to go and show your face. But now that you are finally here, you and I have a few things that need to be addressed for the time being, demon, as I don't intend to go and waste my time with you here either, and so let's just get straight to the point then, shall we? With Mechikabura responding, Lord Raijin, you've been freed, but how? And that energy, what is this strange energy that I sense which is coming from you? Mechikabura questions. Or why is it that I am able to sense both a demonic and angelic energy that is flowing through you like this? And more importantly is why are you even here? With Raijin responding, well, the story of my freedom should be the least of your worries for the time being, and as I didn't come here and having to go and explain my return to you here, Mechikabura, but I had rather came here on behalf of going as far as to go and claim what is rightfully mine, demon, and as the first of our kind to go and be declared as king of the demons and the first among our race to be created, what I seek is what you have stolen, Raijin continues, which only goes as far as to explain as to why I'm here, for long ago while I was trapped within that wretched angelic prison which had restricted my activity from the outside world, and I had learned that you had went and found one of the 3 ancient configuration cubes during your attempted great takeover, and since I know that you have no common knowledge to my own in knowing how important these cubes are, Raijin continues, I am here to go and take it back from you, and as the primordial god of the demons here between us, my authority far supersedes yours, and as the prime authority figure among our kind, and I hereby ask and demand for you to go and hand the cube over to me right now, Mechikabura, with Mechikabura responding, the 3 ancient configuration cubes, and how exactly do you know that it was I who had went and found and laid claim to this relic while you have been locked away, Mechikabura questions, and more importantly is why does this so-called cube matter to you so much that you went out of your way to come all the way here and slaughtering my henchmen to go and claim it? Just what kind of power do these so-called cubes that you look for actually contain here, Raijin? With Raijin responding, what these cubes are meant for is none of your concern, demon, for I will simply go on to warn you once, so you best go and open your ears and listen very carefully to what it is that I'm about to go and tell you, demon, as the cosmic configuration cube that you hold is not meant to be carried by lesser beings such as yourself, Raijin continues, and as the oldest and most powerful demon god among you all, I command for you to go and relinquish it to me right now. Otherwise, you are to go and brace yourself for consequences that will go far beyond your imagination, Mechikabura. And as I look forward in having to go and collect all 3 and yield possession of one of them, Raijin continues, and if that ultimately means that I must carry on and destroy you in order for me to go and claim it, then that's exactly what I will go and do. And so now hand over the cube, with Mechikabura responding, how dare you go and attempt to threaten my life whilst turning your back on me like this, demon, as I can go and care less if you just so happen to predate my authority or not, because now that I can see on just how valuable these configuration cubes are, why should I just go and subject myself and simply having to hand it over to you when I myself can go and claim all 3 for myself instead, Raijin, and as I seem to like this plan a lot better than yours, powers, with Raijin responding, "Foolish demon, for you are dabbling with a power fragment of history that you cannot possibly hope to comprehend here, mechikabura. And so you should go on to choose your next words very wisely here towards me, as you should understand that my wrath has no bounds, even if it means having to go and destroy my own kind," Raijin says. And so now surrender your position and hand over the cube, or prepare to witness a power that has shaped the very foundations of your entire existence, and along with all that you happen to just know about our history as demons, mechikabura. Because if this ultimately means that I will need to go through you in order to lay claim and finally get what I'm after, then I will go and do what I must in order for me to have it, Raijin says. So if you value what you consider to be your life, and if you truly would...
I wonder if they're gonna hit the drip cam on mechikabura, because as y'all seen on the thumbnail, that color scheme is kind of, so I'd like a close-up version of it. You dig? But you know me. I like the artwork.
To maintain your position
I'm an artist.
being one of my very own who will serve me at
I
my
like to steal
side,
other people's
then you will
shit.
go and bend the knee here and surrender the configuration cube over to me, or you will go on to suffer the same consequences that your former minions had just experienced here against me, mechikabura. And as I will not go and warn you again, and so now what exactly is your answer going to be? With mechikabura responding, "Well, since I now see on what it is that you are after and why you are after it, for I should have known that this configuration cube held tremendous power, but even I didn't go on to grasp the full extent of its true potential, but now I find myself intrigued, Lord Raijin. For if you would go to such lengths to go this far in trying to go and claim it," mechikabura continues, "then perhaps instead of allowing for you to lay claim over such potential, what if I were to go and keep this cube for myself and declare myself as being the one true God who stood above all creation, and from that point going as far as to dictate the course of existence itself, because instead of having you go and lay claim over all three cubes and going as far as to use it for yourself, I, on the other hand, believe that it would be best for me to go and seek such power out and putting you out of your misery as a result, and wiping away the old and making the way for the new. And so now what do you say?" With Raijin responding, "You are making a grave mistake by standing in your place to go and attempt to challenge me, mechikabura, and so I say that if you are not willing to go and submit yourself over to my law and surrender the cube in which I seek, then I will go on to pry it from your cold dead hands if I must, especially if it means that I will go and need to do what I must in order to complete my mission by any means necessary." But then, it was only within that very moment as mechikabura went as far as to dash towards Raijin by going as far as to make the first move, was when mechikabura then went on to quickly respond, "Then if you truly wish to try and lay claim over such authority by challenging my own, then allow for me to go and show you on why you are no longer suited in sitting at the throne of power whilst attempting to go and challenge the modern generation of power, Raijin. For there can only ever be one true God King among our kind, and after learning of the details that you had given me on these so-called configuration cubes," mechikabura continues, "it'll be me who will go on to find and use their power in furthering my potential, and I'll make sure that there is no one, not even you, who will go on and stand in the way of having to see that through until the very end, Lord Raijin." But then, it was only as quickly as mechikabura closed in, with Raijin being shown having to knock mechikabura back towards the sky, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond, "You delusional creature, for I can still see that after all these years of leaving you behind and having you take my place while I've been kept locked away, you are still nothing more than just a fragile little child, just as I once remembered you in having to be. For you have went and learned nothing since my original time as ruler," with mechikabura responding, "How dare you? Still just a child, huh? Well then allow for this child to go and show its elder on what it's truly made of, since the days of his original rule of the demon realm are long behind him. No, please, I pity you for going down this path and challenging me like this, mechikabura," Raijin responds. "But if there is one thing that you should go and know throughout the course of our entire battle, it is that long are the days, as they are far behind us at this point, in going as far as to wish for a way out when all you are hereby left with are the ruins of your failure, which I will go on to make sure that you remember them personally. And so now watch as I go and turn you into a believer ever so slowly. And as I will admit to you and say that although you've grown quite powerful since my original time as ruler of the underworld, the power in which you use against me currently will crumble beneath the weight of the pressure that you have placed onto yourself by the time this day is through here between us, with Mechikabura responding, I will never allow for any other demon to go and come in the way of what
I mean, look at that animation over here. That's great artwork. I mean, look at that blast. I mean, shit, he came up with it, but it ain't do nothing.
I have already taken, which is mine. And is that so? Then you will have to go and fight much harder than this if you wish to go and keep this and having it be yours, Mechikabura. Or maybe you are slowly starting to see that you can't, even whilst trying to do your best to crush me. Because unless you think that I am anything like you've imagined me and having to be anything close to what I was before, then just you wait until I start to go and use more of my newly merged power here against you, and as only then will you start to become a believer once I start to show you. To which as Mechikabura then made his way towards Raijin, even whilst narrowly having to escape Raijin's attack, with Mechikabura now making his way ever so closer towards Raijin, was when Mechikabura then went on to shout, well fine, then if I can't blast you away, then I'll just go and do the next best thing in having to tear you apart if I simply can't blow you away into millions of pieces, Raijin. And so now I've got you. Wait, what the? He's gone. But how did he just go and do that? And more importantly is, where did he just go and run off to? But then it was only just within that very moment from out of nowhere as Raijin went on to make his way in by kicking Mechikabura in the face, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond. And then since when was I ever known as being someone who would simply go and run away from any battle that I had ever found myself in, Mechikabura? And as you would be mistaken if you think that I would ever go and run away from any battle that I would go and find myself in being a part of, even here against you, demon. And since I always stood at the edge of battle against even those who were once considered in being far stronger than I was, through the ways in which of having to go and battle both angels and gods alike, Raijin continues, and as the very nature which I am made of should be more than enough to go and show you that I am one who stands to battle without any fear. And as it is only because of this which you and I couldn't be any more different, as you are within your limits, whereas I am without them, Raijin says. And since I am now without any limits, and with my power now woven into standing across even against the mightiest creatures who predate our very own kind, and I have forged my destiny into becoming an unstoppable force, even by the standards of the gods and angels alike. For even if they can't go and hope to match my power in battle, then what makes you believe that you would fare any differently here against me, Mechikabura? Oh no! You will never best me, so as long as I am able to continue to draw upon air within this body, Mechikabura shouts upon being shown firing multiple energy blasts at Raijin. And as once your throne has fallen, let my strength in leading our race be what leads to your downfall once again. But then, it was only just upon with Mechikabura's sudden shock as Raijin was beginning to collect and having to condense all of Mechikabura's attacks and having to form one big one up above him, was when Raijin then went on to respond, feeble placement holder, for do you recall what you had once went and told your enemies a long time ago, Raijin questions? That you would go as far as to strip them of everything that they are, and that you would erase and reduce them in becoming shells of who they once were. Well, how poetic it is that I will now do unto you with exactly on how you once vowed to go and do unto others, Mechikabura. But unlike you, I will go on to ensure that you feel every bit of what I'm about to go and give you, so that way you may come to understand on what it's like to be broken down and helpless. this, with the shocked Mechikabura responding, "Wait, you are able to somehow find a way and go and manipulate my energy attacks and convert them into passive power? But wait a minute, how are you able to go and do that?" With Raijin responding, "I am capable of far more than what you are able to understand, and now that I have that fallen angel's power that courses through my very body, and since you had already decided to go and make your bet here against me," Raijin continues, "let this hereby now go and serve its purpose, so I hope that you take this moment to go and reflect upon your actions, because I'm about to go and give you a dose of your very own medicine." "No, but this can't be possible. Wait, just hold on for just a moment. It doesn't have to continue to be like this if you just wait." But it was already too late, because with a gigantic explosion now being shown having to take place beneath Raijin was when Raijin went on to oversee the battlefield by then responding, "As if your frivolous power could ever come close in comparing to the sheer strength that I possess is almost laughable. But for what it's worth, and if I didn't go and take action and evolve myself the way I did, then I have no doubt that I would have more than likely have fallen to the power the likes of which you currently possess. But needless to say, what an absolute tragedy, you pathetic creature. And here you really thought that you stood a chance in crushing what simply cannot be crushed, but maybe now you can go and see firsthand now with your very own eyes on how completely hopeless you truly are to stop me, demon." With Mechikabura having to gaze on up and then responding, "Oh, but how? How are you so strong? And how are you able to go and acquire this much power? For I don't understand, but if you were able to acquire the power of that former angel Myrno, then how are you able to go and sustain yourself like this? As this shouldn't be possible for me to go and fall to the likes of this. And so now, how did you go and do it?" With Raijin responding, "You know, I should almost thank you for challenging me, demon, for I needed this test and having it be worthy of my newfound power, and what better opponent than the decrepit would-be ruler of the demon realm, who was only in the position that he was in simply because I had allowed for him to be. For the very moment I went on to take that fallen angel Myrno's power for myself, the very moment his divine essence became a part of me, and I knew that there would no longer be any true rivals left for me to go and challenge, and now you are living proof of this, Mechikabura. But even now, as I stand here before you whilst reducing you down into what you currently are, that is shown barely standing in front of me," Raijin continues, "just because I was recently freed doesn't mean I was born yesterday," Demon Raijin went on to then quickly grab onto Mechikabura's staff, "because while you may have been able to go and lie along with trick the others, you should have already known better than to go and try to do the same with me, demon. And since I already have a feeling that this staff of yours is something that I may need to go and inspect for myself, concealing the cube within this orb was far too predictable, as if you thought that by hiding the first of these cubes from me was actually going to work, and thinking that I wasn't going to be able to find it was a mistake. Because while I would have already assumed that you and your kind would have long discovered the secrets of these cubes," Raijin continues upon being shown having to unscrew the orb and squeezing it, "and it doesn't go as far as to surprise me that while you and your kind that followed in my footsteps and having to rule in my place while I've been away, you've appeared to always search for your purpose on the surface, but had never once been smart enough to search from within. For there it..."
See, he said, there it is. So, therefore, this nigga done pulled up, just found where it was, because he had it on. Shout out to keeping that thing on you, though. Appreciate that. But the nigga said, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Just snatched it from him, took it, like, bloop. That's my, that's the big homie.
Finally is the first of the 3 mighty gateway cubes, as I have longed for the very day ever since I was captured, and having to finally see this day through. And now that I have, only 2 more cubes remain, as a desperate Mechikabura then went on to quickly shout, "Curse you, Raijin! For if you were to go and take me down within the process process of having to complete your mission, then I am going to see to it firsthand that I go and take a very large portion of you with me. As it was only within that very moment, seconds later, with Mechikabura attempting to blast Raijin, with Raijin being shown having to completely stop Mechikabura's attack with simply one finger, was when Raijin then went on to quickly respond. But if you truly think that you are within the range of power to do anything in this situation that will work in having to stop me, Raijin continues, then I hate to have to break it to you, but, well, with that fallen angel Myrna's power combined and working alongside my own, you could never hope to stand a chance against me no matter what it is that you go and try to do here to survive. Because this right here means more to me than you could ever possibly hope to imagine, Raijin continues, as it is the key to an ancient gateway that will guide me into ruling over all points of life across all timelines and dimensions, in first having to go and reveal to me on what lies beyond our current understanding of the multiverse which we exist within. Because why stop here when I can go and lay claim over everything that is within the realm of existence instead? For you should have been more careful with the items that you had carried, because I can go as far as to assure you that you will never go and have this opportunity in holding one of these ever again, demon. And so now gaze upon your ruin, Mechikabura, as with your flesh torn and your spirit crushed beneath the weight of my fury, Raijin continues. Do not waste a little breath that you still have left within your meaningless defiance here against me, and tell me what I need to know. As I care not of your pleas for mercy, as my sole purpose is to seek out the second configuration cube, so now tell me where it is right now, because if you don't, then I will go and unleash upon you a torment so profound and so cruel that the echoes of your screams will be heard throughout every corner of every universe as a testament of your undying failure. For you were never truly a god, but more of a placement holder until I returned, and now that I am here, your time is over. And so now, where is the second configuration cube? Speak of its location, or I will continue to squeeze what's left of your pathetic soul within my hand and devour your very essence until you are simply no longer able to exist, Mechikabura. And so this is going to be your one and only last chance. And so now tell me what you know about where the second cube is, or you will face my wrath in its entirety and have your soul be devoured forever, demon. With Mechikabura responding, wait, enough, I beg of you, so please, I will tell you on what I know, for all I know is that long ago, I had heard rumors of that second configuration cube being in possession of that scheming vermin warlord Demigra, as I remember on how it was once said that he just so happened to have found such a relic, but what he plans to go and do with it, or if he knows anything more about its power, I do not know. But if you wish to go and seek this out and claim it, then you will have to go and rip it from his cold, twisted hands, since that is all of the knowledge that I have in regards to such things as
now
this
you're
is
like
all I
crackhead
know.
over there.
And so now please have mercy upon me,
That boy was like the straight up crackhead version, missing teeth and all. Look at him.
rumors of your return were ever going to
I mean, just look at him. He said, damn, I ain't gonna make it. That's that bullshit, boss.
come true, and so please have mercy on my soul and grant me a second chance in kneeling before you whilst being at your service, Mechikabura says, as I do not know on where any of the other cubes are, with the only exception being the ones that I have heard, in understanding that Demigra carries the second, and as I doubt that he is even aware of its true nature, along with what they are all capable of once all three are gathered together, with Raijin responding, Demigra, you say? Now there's a name that I haven't uttered in ages. ages, and yet it makes perfect sense. For that scheming wretch always did have an eye in wanting to obtain forbidden relics, slithering within the shadows and waiting for his moment to strike. But it matters not, Raijin continues, for all roads lead to me in the end, and with the first configuration cube now within my possession, it will only be a matter of time before I go and claim the second as well. But you should be honored, Mechikabura, as in your final miserable moments you have secured your place in history, but not as a king nor as a conqueror, but as a stepping stone towards my fulfillment, demon. For you are but a broken remnant of an era that no longer matters. Raijin continues upon being shown having to flick Mechikabura's own attack right back and through him, and for that I thank you for keeping our name alive, Mechikabura. However, the very moment you stood before me, your destiny from then on was sealed, as I was always going to take everything away from you one way or another, for there can only ever be but one true king of the demon realm and beyond. But tell me, Raijin further went on to then question, did you ever stop to think that there was always something waiting that was far beyond you? Something that was far darker and something that was far more ruthless than even your twisted little mind could possibly go on to go and comprehend their demon? No? Well then allow me to go and introduce myself properly to you, as this will be the first and the last time that you ever will, for I am Lord Raijin, and I am the last nightmare that you will ever come to know. As a pleading Mechikabura went on to look up by then responding, wait, please spare me, spare my life and let me go, and allow for me to go and prove myself to you by honoring your name at your side and being someone to prove their worth to you, Lord Raijin. I beg of you, sire. With Raijin responding, you know, very few creatures get the privilege of playing a role at my side, no matter how.
So when you think about it, at the end of the damn day, 3 different demons, because Zalaman's an Namekian, so they make him a demon. Mechikabura was a demon god, and then you got, what was the other guy's name? Whatever. The new guy. The next one he's finna pull up on. Anyways, he's also a demon. So 3 demons had these powerful cubes the whole damn time. See? Teamwork. If they'd all been working together anyways, then they would have already figured it out. Hey, put these 3 things together, because you got one, I got one, and they got one. Well, Zalaman wasn't fucking with him, because he's the creator of the Super Dragon Ball. So he's like, nah, I don't fuck with them guys. They actually not good people. You know, be good to good people. So yeah, that's why he was holding his down. So those 2 would have figured it out. Like, well, if we get the one that Brody got, we good. So they should have been trying to take him out. That should be a whole side story. Coming up with a different
small in a
timeline.
cause as grand as mine, but the problem with tools, Mechikabura, is that once they have been used, they must be discarded. And as you have now given me everything that I require, and now there is no more need for you to stick around by, for this is where your story comes to an end, as the demon realm will move forward from here on without you. To which it was only suddenly within that very moment, as Raijin went on to unleash a gigantic blast and having to completely decimate Mechikabura further, was when Raijin then went on to quickly continue. And so now perish alongside with those who stood against my mission, and having your legacy be destroyed along with your miserable and useless existence. You wretched fools, for there is no throne in the demon realm but my own that exists, and no other law but my own that stands, Raijin continues, and yet, time and time again, these arrogant little vermin rise from the filth, diluting themselves into believing that they could carve out their own dominion here in my shadow. And while you were the latest to go and try here, Mechikabura, you most certainly won't be the last, but no matter. Because now that I have on what I came here in looking for, my path moving forward is now clear, as the final pieces to my ultimate plan are now beginning to finally take shape, and very soon Demigro will learn on just how futile his little schemes have always been if he dares to go and stand in opposing me, and as he is nothing but a lowly parasite feeding on on the scraps left behind by those stronger than himself, but he is not greater, for I am the one who stands as the greatest, and very soon he will go on to suffer just as Mechikabura had suffered if he refuses to go and bend the knee. Raijin continues, and if he does not go and give me what I seek, which there are only 2 more cubes that remain, then I will rip the second configuration cubes from his lifeless hands if it means having to get what I desire. But now to go and find him, for he was always known to conceal his essence where no other deity can go and find him, but where to look is the question, Raijin continues, for Murno's memory should give me an idea on where he might be hiding, and so now where are you? Ah, yes, there you are, Raijin continues, for Murno's highlighted sense of spirit awareness along with his knowledge in being able to detect the life force of residing deities have proven to be very much useful to me, and as I am now starting to see on how he was able to go and track down most of the gods that he was hunting, but even now, nevertheless, I found you, Demigra, and since I now know that you are in possession of the second cube in which I seek, you are either going to give me what I demand from you, or I will go and pry it away from your cold, dead hands if you refuse to obey me, demon. As it was only right then and there now, during that moment, for the Beyond Dragon Ball Super Story of the Dark Masters, the official Murno sequel, manga chapter number 32 special, then comes to a close.
Well, actually, I'll go ahead and take it from here, as I do want to go as far as to address something very important with our dear viewers at the moment. As before I go and give you the following information, if you aren't already a member of Unreal's Patreon community, then you are truly missing out on so much without you even knowing, because not only is the next episode already on the page, but if you want to support all of the manga content that you see and gain access to tons of exclusives along the way that range from a
Hey, he said, I gotta get that clip of Mr. Organic saying I'm a super Negro. Shouts out to get that clip. I'm gonna have to actually get me what to do too. I don't need a soundboard, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about.
variety of different things, then we do encourage for you all to become members of our Patreon community today, for we will link everything down within the description box below and pinned comment section as well. Now, I will go as far as to say that even though I was not expecting to see on what it was that I had just witnessed go down involving both Raijin and Mechikabura, I'm afraid that things will only continue to grow worse and worse if something isn't done to help stop Raijin from achieving his goals, because with the Grand Minister alongside the Omni Kings immobilized and completely absent from this current scenario, then I'm afraid we are all on our own unless something were to change and change quickly before time runs out. And because of this, you do not want to go and miss out on what is about to happen coming up next. So we hope that you all enjoyed today's video, and before you leave, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up by smashing that like button on your way out, as well as also subscribing to Unreal Int Gaming's channel for tons of new Dragon Ball content. So with that,
Yeah, with that, we already know we got more video to do, so I'm gonna just skip this exit today. Shout out to Big Homie though. Y'all know to go check out his Patreon, get ahead of the game, and then you can
Is
just watch
Vegeta the
with
best
me on
husband in
Saturdays
Dragon Ball?
still.
Vegeta found himself a rival upon entering the Demon Realm. Hype showed his interest in Bulma, and Vegeta's sensors as her husband quickly started working. From that point onwards, Vegeta has always had an eye on Bulma. In episode 14 of the anime, right when the party was about to enter the Demon Realm, they found out that the ship was not going to endure this final leg of the journey, so all of them would have to fly. However, Bulma is the only one of them all to not have the ability to fly, and even though Hype's kinda stepped in, Vegeta quickly took care of it. Without a single doubt, Vegeta just got Bulma to wrap her arms around him, and then the two of them abandoned the ship. This is just another instance of Vegeta looking after Bulma, obviously the most memorable one being his fit of rage after Beerus slapped her. And this begs the question, after all he's been through, the best and the worst about Dragon Ball Daima. The best. Dragon Ball Daima has had the best production ever for a Dragon Ball TV series. The show included very detailed and high-quality animation as well as really cool battle choreographies. Also, from a lore standpoint, Daima has added a lot of knowledge into our books. From the origin of the universes in Dragon Ball to the tale of the Namekians. Let's not forget just how epic the canonization of the Super Saiyan 4 has been. It is definitely an anime worth watching. The worst. Daima had some inconsistency in its narrative flow, especially from the moment it introduced introduced the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta transformation onwards. It did pick up the pace in the last few episodes, but it had a filler sort of content that felt kind of awkward midway. We also cannot forget the fact that there's a major plot hole right now regarding the Super Saiyan 4 form and its connection with Dragon Ball Super, or even the fact that they teased a potential fusion through some bug items that never actually happened. Definitely a disappointing and odd choice.
You're making a big mistake. Where do you think you're going?
They was just sitting there watching, like, I'll just let this little nigga get beat the fuck up. It's Uncle Vegeta. He know what he doing.
Veggie, what a waste of talent. Not today. Back off. Have it your way. A tough guy like you should be able to face the truth.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you better wonder about Gohan.
This may go down as one of the greatest covers to be drawn on any Dragon Ball manga cover in years, and it definitely is top 5. It is absolutely pristine. Toyotaro deserves all the love, all the flowers. Well, Toyotaro and the rest of the team behind Dragon Ball Daima and the Dragon Ball Super manga have been going around making their rounds not only through interviews but also through podcasts. And Toyotaro just had an interview talking about this cover, and oh boy, did he have things to say, because not only in the exact same excerpt, he not only completely verifies Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Broly, and Piccolo's level of strength, but he finally reveals Black Frieza's level and how strong he is compared to the rest of them, which is exactly what that cover was meant to convey. Because remember, Black Frieza's in the actual manga as well in one of the pages. That's what we've been seeing the last couple of months, this Black Frieza art. We didn't realize how important it was up until this interview. So the interview starts out with Toyotaro talking about Dragon Ball Superhero and the Dragon Ball Superhero movie. He says, in the movie Superhero, Piccolo becomes Orange Piccolo, and Gohan becomes Beast Gohan, or Beast, right? So that makes you wonder, who is the strongest among Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, and Broly, doesn't it? Absolutely it does. But Toyotaro, you kind of answered that question when you drew the last chapter, when you had Gohan versus Goku. Obviously, we didn't see Piccolo at all in this fight, so we don't really know how to gauge Piccolo, really. But we did see Gohan versus the rest of them, and we got to see Broly Master Super Saiyan. So we kind of have a lot to go on as to how powerful these characters actually are from the last chapter. But Toyotaro isn't done yet. He's got more to say in this interview, and I think that this first question they were talking about, that's when they initially started talking about the cover. Toyotaro states, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to show that the power of all 5 characters is the same. The same. What are you talking about, Toyotaro? What are you saying? Which is why I created this composition. This is the hardest I've worked on a drawing so far. And I might not be able to spend as much time on the cover like this in the future. Also in the background, there's Black Frieza, whose power difference is something to consider as well. This interview has completely turned the Dragon Ball world upside down when it comes to people who follow the manga, who follow Daima. First, we thought that Daima was connected to Super, but there's no possible way that's true. At the end of Dragon Ball Daima, we saw that there is no way that could be true. And right now, we are being told that it is its own story, that Toriyama created it to be separate or to be other, basically be GT, his version of Dragon Ball GT, to leave us with that. Now, we've all known that the power levels of these characters are similar, but we've never heard anyone say, oh, they have the same power. So what do you guys think? And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts right now on exactly what he's talking about. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys think that he's saying all 5 of these characters in Dragon Ball Super's manga, they all have the same power? They're all the same strength level. Well, I give you guys a few seconds to do that. Okay, so what I think is going on here, this is my perspective based on the last chapter, which is weirdly the chapter that we got for this cover that he's talking about. It explains it right there and then.
I mean, we already saw the first part of the video. If you're just tuning in, you're going to have to hit the rewind button. You did, because you got to go back to the first video that Geetum said that we know that translation that's saying that they're all the same is not how what he said is supposed to be translated in English. So yeah, they done misquoted your boy in English. You dig? This is why you gotta, speak multiple languages and understand what's really going on. Because like he already said, nah. Ain't just no they're all the same. But from a misleading the audience standpoint for right now, that's a good thing for them, because them saying that they're all the same is gonna have everybody wondering, well, if they're all the same, why the fuck couldn't Orange Piccolo defeat fucking Cell? Because he should have been able to do it, and Gohan should have been able to do it. Because Gohan laid the final blow. Although they both would have needed help, is what I'm saying. Therefore, they were the same. They both couldn't do it by themselves, which makes that statement true. Because if you can't knock the guy out by your motherfucking self, we the same. Can't either one of us beat this motherfucker. No matter what our power level is, which one of us is actually stronger, neither one of us can knock the motherfucker out. Just like when Vegeta and them went against Broly. Couldn't either one of them knock him out by themselves, so they had to work together. Hence why I think you see they're the same. You dig? But then with Broly, we already know Broly's not the same as none of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? I'm a legendary Super Saiyan out here. My potential is higher and greater beyond anybody. They just keep nerfing me because I'm hard to write. You dig? Shout out to Broly being a hard to write character. They need a person like your boy out here writing his story. Because just look at my history. You dig? Yeah, we definitely clipping that little part. We went in with that little monologue somewhat. Not really too hard, but hell, made myself look good by the end of it. But anyways.
And I believe all these characters, they are all in the same realm of strength. So they can all fight similar beings, but they all have different ways that their strength works and different hacks abilities to modify their strength and their technique. So let's just start with the Juggernaut here, which is Orange Piccolo. Now, Orange Piccolo is about the strength level of, I would say, a little bit under Cell Max. We know that Cell Max is supposed to be the strength level of Broly when it is, I believe, completed. So Piccolo's a little bit weaker than Broly, but he's still a juggernaut. He can take a beating. He's extremely durable. And so he's basically the tank of the group. Then we have Broly. Broly is more of a salt and a tank mixed together, because Broly, in his berserker state, is extremely powerful, overpowered. Everyone throughout interviews and even the show and the manga have stated that Broly is the strongest. The madder Broly gets, the stronger he gets. That is true. But if he gets too mad, he will lose himself and attack his own allies. That is the double-edged sword to his power. But the Broly that we're talking about in this cover, in this chapter, and the one that we've known for years are not the same. Berserker Broly is completely different than Super Saiyan Controlled Broly. Super Saiyan Controlled Broly, I would say, is weaker strength level wise than the Broly that we have in PBS Broly's movie. He's just slightly weaker. I would say significantly weaker because he doesn't get angry to the extent that his power quadruples and just goes higher and higher. He has control over it. So I would put him probably now at the same strength level as Piccolo, with the possibility of going berserk. Then we have Vegeta, who has Ultra Ego. Ultra Ego very similarly works the same way as Berserk for Broly. Broly in Berserk gets more mad, gets more powerful. But there's a threshold, which was Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Vegeta, on the other hand, has the exact same thing, essentially, but the more his ass gets whooped, the stronger he becomes. The more damage he takes, the more powerful he's supposed to get. And that also seems to have a limit, as we've seen in the Granola arc. And he hasn't mastered it yet. The difference between Vegeta and Broly is that Vegeta has access to God of Destruction Ki, Hakai. He's got access to that level of Ki, that type of Ki, which is completely different than the one that Broly has. So that is what makes him unique. I would say that Ultra Ego Vegeta is still weaker than Broly. Then we have arguably the strongest member of the group, is Beast Gohan. He has been stated as being the strongest. He easily takes down Cell Max. Now, Cell Max is not completed, and yet he took him out relatively easily, meaning that when he was completed, more than likely it would just be a little bit of a hassle, but he took him down no problem. We see that he always has power. All he needs is to transform. That's it. No gimmick, nothing else. Only transform, and he's got a deep well of power, and he has mastered residing between losing control and not losing control. But there is a possibility that he may. He stated that. He fought Goku, he defeated Goku just by powering up. That's all he did. He became faster and stronger to break through Goku's Ultra Instinct. Beast Gohan is the strongest member of this group. If there is a hierarchy, he is on top. Then we have Ultra Instinct Goku, Master Ultra Instinct Goku, who was the strongest in the Moro arc, has this ability to not only create a Susanoo, but also to use instantaneous movement. He's extremely powerful, uses Divine Ki, but he is not an expert in Mastered Ultra Instinct yet. It's not mastered, and it has drawbacks if his mindset is not right, which is what we saw in the Granola arc, and he lost to Beast Gohan, so he is slightly weaker. The only reason all of this matters is just to show that there is still differences in power and strength, and if you face these guys against each other, there would be some that would make it out way better than others. But we can now see the one thing that Toyotaro is extremely clear on, because he says that the power of all these guys is the same, which I think he's just talking about realms of power. But the one definitive thing that he does say in this interview is that Black Frieza has a power difference to the power that these guys have. Now, ability-wise, that could be what he's talking about. I don't believe.
You know what he's saying is, should none of them one-on-one be able to take Frieza? Not one-on-one, not yet. That's the only thing that means about them being the same. But like the first video said, hell, that was a mistranslation, because what he actually means is, yeah, they all are doing the same fucking thing, which is working together. You know, they're a team, so they're all the same. Don't matter which member of the team, they've all got dubs in different areas. So, you see what I'm saying? The most kills, Vegeta. That's his department. You know, you need a body, you throw the Vegeta at somebody he's way stronger than, he'll actually kill him. He might even kill somebody strong one of these days, like that boy Frieza. Because, hell, Frieza got it coming. Make Frieza great again, which will be dead.
David, I think that what he is saying is that Black Frieza is the big bad. He is stronger than all these guys. And I thought that Beast Gohan had surpassed him, but I guess not. That's the only thing that I'm willing to take wholeheartedly from this interview is that Beast Gohan has not surpassed Black Frieza. Black Frieza is still stronger than Beast Gohan. That's where I'm at right now. But let me know what you guys think and what you guys got from this interview.
Fire in the Hoski. Y'all know to go check out that W link. Get y'all some of those new solo leveling flavors. Or pick any of the original flavors that they currently still have up. You dig? Check out the W. Y'all know we got that affiliate program over there. So when you click my link, we'll be getting that bread together, right? Because you'll have an interview to do whatever you gonna do. And I'll be thankful that you supporting the W. You dig? Non-jittery energy. You dig? That's that W. Go ahead and check them out.
I released a video recently where I made the assertion that not a single one of you could beat any Dragon Ball fighter. And the hilarious part is, the comments were flooded with people who thought that I was wrong and that they had valid answers. You're all wrong, so let's go through them. You think you could beat Chaozu in a fight? Sorry, my guy, but he can fly, psychically control your entire body, and shoot deadly Dodonpa beams that would have one-shotted Goku an arc prior. So yeah, try again. You think you can beat Ranfan or Bacterian from the World Tournament? Well, at least you're getting a bit more creative now, but still, unfortunately, both of them, despite their gimmicks, were still highly capable fighters that made their way through the preliminary rounds of the most illustrious martial arts tournament in the world. Unless you are a legit high-level professional fighter, which I highly doubt you are, you ain't taken either of these guys. Videl, not even close. Chi-Chi, she is absolutely wiping the floor with you. Oolong? Well, okay, he's not really a fighter to begin with, is he? But honestly, he might just turn into a rocket and fly out of your reach, so even if you do cheat, you're still not beating a Dragon Ball fighter. Sorry.
Now, y'all trying to cheat code and get it access into that next solo leveling video we finna do. Because you know we got plenty more of that content coming up. Yeah, I'm aware of everything solo leveling now. Not aware, but you know, I'm getting better with the story. So we'll have more videos coming out. Because you know, I've been doing my homework. Because in 2025, you got to do your homework, you dig? But other than that, let's see. Coming up, we will be having a Buy Me a Coffee members promotion over here on Spider Pig. So, we're going to at least get 10 people. Yeah, at least get 10 people. Some memberships. So we're going to probably gift 10 people memberships and then build from there. Because, once we have 10 people that are active members and participating with the membership content, then we'll do more membership content. Shouts out to that because like I said, first 10 people that hit me up, they get it for free. Yeah, but I ain't gonna tell them about that. That'll be a community post. So therefore, it actually gets some progression versus hoping people watch the video to the end. Shouts out to the people that make it to the end of the video. We appreciate that. Y'all know to go check out that Rumble link so you can go see the studio quality of the videos. And y'all know if my voice quality is low on the videos, then y'all just gonna have to forgive me and work with me because it be like that sometimes. Sometimes the mic works, sometimes it don't. But if you want to check out the studio quality and you actually prefer it that way, definitely check it out on Rumble. But if you prefer the YouTube and the verticals, watch it on YouTube. Whichever way you want to watch it, we give you options. Because hey, if you want to see the studio quality with the razzle and the dazzle, you can hit up the Rumble. You dig? Because we post over here too. See, look at him. Posted it up over there. Shouts out to that Gundam Wing Zero full spec video that was posted on Rumble after it was recorded. So, I checked the video quality and posted right to Rumble. And then I figure out when I'm going to schedule it on YouTube. But yeah, Rumble gets the wild, infrequent posts versus the YouTube channels have consistent posts or scheduled posts. You see what I'm saying? If it was a video I didn't plan on doing, I can schedule it anytime that's going to be convenient. Shout out to knowing how to handle your business. Because we does it. But anyways, I ain't going to hold y'all up. I got another live here at 10 o'clock coming up, so we'll be getting ready for that. Hit your boy up though, check out the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. And like I said, we need 10 members, whether gifted or paid. Shouts out to that, because like I said, we got some membership topics that we need to cover. Try to get to that side of the game. Fuck with the people I fucks with. Shout out to my dude Beast Mode God One. He came through supporting, appreciate that. Like I said, we wrapping up though. Hit the replay gang if you just made it in, because you know how we do.